what are some of the questions that a leader, now I think there's a lot of value in asking, getting anonymous feedback or not anonymous feedback. There's a whole bunch of different takes on that. But what are some of the specific questions a leader in a business should be getting answered in one form or another so that they can identify the problems either with themselves or with the business that need to be addressed?
Yeah. Well, I think the secret there, and I've learned this in pitch meetings and stuff. So I'll be pitching people or they're pitching me. I have learned to ask the feedback question in a way that is not threatening to the other person.
Okay.
Right. And so typically you'll go and you'll say, what should we do differently? What do you think is wrong? Okay. So what's the problem with asking the question that way? That person has to stand up for that view. Yeah. Right. But you have a different way of asking it is, what would you do differently if you were me? Yep. Right. Think about the subtle nuance that's different there in terms of the social status of me as the CEO asking somebody 2 levels down over a social lunch. What would you do differently with your mate? That's different. That is not me putting you in the place where you're forced to give me advice. That is me thinking about, in the context of this, how do I get you to ask something that's not going to be deconstructive, right? Or you're going to feel career threatened when I ask you that.
So a lot of it has to do then with the way that you structure the questions. I think there's one of the problems is that power dynamic between the leaders and those who are being led, and getting in these situations where the leader genuinely wants feedback and is not looking to retaliate, but either his or her people are afraid, or even if the leader wants feedback, they somehow come across in a way that they don't want feedback. So how does a leader lay the groundwork for that feedback process so that people are as comfortable as possible?
Yeah. Well, I think it's the people that I see do it really well are the ones that respond appropriately and consistently do that, right? And so appropriately is, I don't know if you've ever been in EO, that's one of the peer groups. Or in Vistage. I'm in Vistage now. Yeah. But one of the things you do when you process an issue in your Vistage group is they give you feedback and you only get to say one thing.
Yeah, right.
Thank you. That's what you get to say. Thank you. And it's that mindset of gratitude that if you have that habit when you're listening, is to say thank you, because that person just went out on a limb to do that. And, culture, I'm a big believer that culture stems from the leadership, and then that promulgates down. And if you as a C-level leader are doing that, I think you have a really powerful opportunity to push that down into your organization and then hire and fire around it. So anyway, I do feel like you're asking these very complex questions, and my strategy with all this stuff is, I just shut up more, or I just try to simplify everything. And I'm just like, I need to shut up more, and I'm going to listen.
So I think that is a tremendous thing. And like you said earlier, one of the hardest things for us to do as leaders is to shut up. And I think the quality of your questions then gives you an opportunity to shut up, because that'll hopefully lead to a quality answer.